Colchester Borrows.
It is great to be part of a debate where there seems to be some sort of unanimity across the House, and as the previous speaker has indicated, it's a little bit unusual then to find this just minutes after we've been metaphorically at each other's throats. Probably not a good terminology in addressing a legislation that addresses violence, but interesting to note that apparently a government that could have it so wrong just 5 minutes ago now apparently has it so right. I think it's interesting, really, to draw the conclusion that this bill doesn't stick so rigidly to age thresholds. And previously, we were making there had been huge assertions made that you're a child until you're 13 and 364 days when you miraculously become a young person. The fact is that domestic violence and dysfunctional families blur the lines between ages, and so we have to take a stock take of where our country is in respect of domestic violence particularly, but violence in general. Police are called to about 80,000 domestic violence incidents a year, and what we know is that in a huge number of those cases children are present, and so over time they inculcate messages of violence, that violence can be an answer, violence can be an option, when in fact we know that it isn't. We also know that with over 200 women and children killed in domestic violence over the last 12 years, it's clear that New Zealand is facing an epidemic of domestic violence, and thankfully that has started to be addressed, which is a good thing. What we found was, of course, then, because of the promotion of the idea of reporting, the build in confidence that people who are offended against in this way had, and the ability of agencies to be able to deal with it, so they went on to report, and so we did see an escalation of family violence reporting. But what was very disappointing to see was a trending down in the number of applications for protection orders. And so it's very important then to have legislation that reinforces the place of protection orders in domestic violence circumstances, and then and does a little bit of manipulation, as this legislation does, to ensure that they are effective and that they can be made effective, and so that again we can enhance the confidence that those people have that if they go on to report an instance of domestic violence, then it will be addressed, and over time things will get better. I've noticed in relatively short experience that I had as Defence Counsel that those men who then are forced into obtaining counselling and go on and eventually do it, no matter how unhappy they are about having to do that, invariably gain an insight if they're prepared to turn up sober. And so to have the ability through this piece of legislation to extend the ability of those men to attend, or to be forced to attend at least initially, we have some hope for it. It's good to see that we are recognising the severity of emotional violence and psychological abuse, to broadening the application of that across the legislation, and it's great to be part of a team, a parliament, a government, which is enhancing the legislation to deal with domestic violence. And just in the last short couple of years, we have seen additions to the suite of legislation that deals with these things so well. I'm pleased to see that it has support across the House. Thank you.